Welcome to day 59 of the Sacred Pause. Thank you to our dear sister Laura for the meditation she provided last night, taking us on an exquisite journey which took us back 14,000 years to reset our human conditioning. And the angels held our hands. Thank you, dear sister. It's an honor to have you on board the Sacred Pause. I'm going to start today with a short poem called New Eyes. And I grew a new set of eyes, which connected with my heart. And suddenly, I saw the beauty in all things, and the darkness became light, and all my heavy parts became light, and all of my broken parts were bound together with the sacred glue of the universe, the thing they call love. Now today I wanted to talk about how we can look into our past to create a more powerful future for ourselves. They always say, never look back. And if you look back in anger, and maybe with a bottle of whiskey in your hands, and use your reptilian brain, well, I'd say this is pretty good advice. However, as you start to awaken from your serpent slumber and start to live through your heart, it's possible to cast a more elevated, wisdom-based perspective at your past and look through the eyes of eagle. Now, through this quantum observer viewpoint, the whole dance can look completely different. You see, when you take the raw human emotion out of every situation, suddenly that crazy ex-boyfriend or husband who you once felt ruined your life, well, they don't quite seem so crazy after all. And even if they are crazy, perhaps they did you an incredible favor by entering your life. Perhaps they taught you a lesson about yourself, which hopefully, with this beautiful new set of eyes you've just been given, will allow you to avoid the same thing happening in any future relationships. Perhaps they can help you in every part of the next chapter of your life in this lifetime and beyond that. Equally, when you bring Condor in to watch that day you got fired from your job or missed out on your so-called dream house, or maybe lost a court case that you felt your whole world depended on, well, suddenly it doesn't seem so terrible. Taking a step back and looking at all these moments through the eyes of the witness and not the victim, it's possible to see that somewhere in that black hole there was a tiny chink of light which allowed some very small particle to shift in your consciousness and allowed you to shed part of your ego and replace it with a crucial and significant soul fragment, so that your wisdom jigsaw felt much more complete. Is it possible that in the greater picture, where we can see this earthly incarnation from what they called the God view, that this life is but a tiny journey amid many lifetimes, and that these crazy partners or horrible colleagues or biased judges who appeared to ruin our lives are actually one of our greatest allies and greatest friends wearing a mask that they agreed to wear before this lifetime so they could take the hit for you, play the bad guy, and allow you to grow. If that's the case, then they're not only our greatest teachers, but also our greatest friends, who we should honor with gratitude, because one day, when this life is over and we're hanging out together in heaven's equivalent of the Oscars, we'll be helping them to shine the trophy they just picked up from God for the monumental role they played in your own personal evolution. You see, as our spiritual voyage of awakening gets underway, it's vital that we do a spiritual audit on ourselves. And we do this by creating a careful inventory of our lives, so we can seek out the seeds of learning within all our greatest woes, and this way we effectively face our darkness, so we can step into the light. These are the pearls hidden in the rotten oyster shells, the diamonds in the rough, the gold in the glitter. My brothers and sisters, try and go through all your past defeats and all your traumas. Write them down to find what the key lesson you learned from each one of these is. And do this as a retrospective analysis in eagle, looking through the eyes of your heart, to ensure that all the emotion and all the anger is taken out of the spiritual equation. Oftentimes, your adversaries are your greatest blessings, and it might sound heartless to see a positive in, for example, losing a parent, because we're taught that losing a parent is the greatest catastrophe in our lives. But Napoleon Hill, who lost his mother at 9, believes this was the making of him as a human being, because it opened the door to many, many gifts and allowed new souls and new people to enter his life. Now, this does mean that through all the dark times you have to feel the pain, and you have to address it at its very root. But if you can have the mindset that every bump in the road, that every single stumble is an opportunity to rise, if you're willing to see what tripped you up in the first place, you can only get stronger. As ever, there'll be a meditation tonight. Our beautiful sister, Mary Curtis, will be delivering today's magic. Before you begin, please open sacred space and send great healing to the people of Mexico on behalf of our sister Dana. Lots of love for Mexico. Please also send healing to all the green spaces and all the nature areas around the world on behalf of our dear sister Ruth. To the firefighters, to the shop workers, to the health workers, and to all the carers who continue their incredible work across our planet. Please also send healing to our dear sister Margarita, who needs our prayers right now. Welcome aboard, Margarita. Also to Alex, Thomas, Ellen, and Maureen, on behalf of our sister Gabrielle. And to Mick Lynch, who is going through a tough time right now, we send him our love and healing on behalf of Jeffrey. Finally, please send all your love and healing to Rose's grandma and to Jeffrey's grandfather, who are somewhere in this beautiful universe, their souls bringing love and light to many people, I'm sure. The revolution has begun. Let's evolve with honor and grace. Yours, in peace and love, Peter. Namaste.